Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 23rd of December 25. Today, we are taking a deep dive into a really extraordinary week. We're moving from huge corporate contract wins all the way to a major constitutional ruling.
It has been an immense news cycle, especially on the corporate side. If there's a common thread, it's just, the sheer confidence being placed in long-term Malaysian assets.
Okay, let's break that down. We have to start with the biggest corporate news. Coastal contracts. Their stock surged. What was it, nearly 20%?
Right, and that was after a consortium led by its joint venture secured a massive gas processing contract from Pemex.
Mexico's national oil firm.
Exactly. And that contract alone is worth RM 4.64 billion. But the real takeaway, the thing you need to focus on, is what it means for their future.
Revenue visibility, right.
That's it. It pushes their total order book to RM 7.4 billion. They have guaranteed income stretching all the way to August 2035. That's almost a decade of secured business.
That guaranteed income is incredible. But is there a risk? Relying so heavily on a single massive state-owned company like Pemex.
Oh, there's always a risk. But the market's reaction shows they think the long-term certainty outweighs it. It's a huge vote of confidence. Now, let's bring it back from Mexico to KL. We saw another massive capital move. The Valiram family office is acquiring Lendlease's stakes in the exchange TRX Mall.
And the office tower right next to it. For about 1.1 billion ringgit.
Yes. And on the surface, it looks like a simple ownership change. But strategically,
What's the real story here?
for Lendlease, it's capital recycling. They're cashing out a hugely successful investment to fund projects elsewhere. But for us, for Malaysia, it signals profound investor confidence in the TRX precinct. I mean, that mall only opened in 2023.
And it did, what, over 2.5 billion in sales in its first year?
RM 2.64 billion, yeah. Valiram is basically paying a premium to double down on KL's top retail spot. It shows the big investors see that premium sector as really robust.
That makes sense. Let's link this to another high-value transaction. AME Elite Consortium selling 5 industrial properties in Johor.
To Capital Land Malaysia Trust for RM 220.8 million. All cash.
And this seems like another example of perfect timing, strategically.
It's a perfect fit, especially with the new Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone. For Capital Land, this just instantly boosts their industrial and logistics portfolio right where all that cross-border growth is happening. And for AME,
To get that cash injection.
a critical one. It allows them to blow past their sales target for the next fiscal year.
Speaking of securing long-term income, let's look at Yinson Holdings. They're locking in revenue even further out, right, into the 2040s.
Correct. And with a green energy pivot, they secured a 15-year power purchase agreement valued at RM 1.2 billion with Genesis Energy in New Zealand.
That's a huge milestone for them.
It's crucial because it covers the output from the Entcas wind farm, which is their first wind farm under construction. It secures revenue all the way to the second half of 2043.
And before we move on, let's quickly touch on the macro stability here. Bank Negara's international reserves just hit a fresh 11-year high.
US $124.3 billion. That is a very, very healthy financial buffer. It means our reserves can finance about 4.8 months of imports.
And that's the stability that makes all these massive deals possible in the first place.
Precisely.
All right, let's turn to the biggest political headline, the one with profound constitutional implications. The High Court has ruled against former Prime Minister Najib Razak's bid for house arrest.
Right, and this is where the precedent becomes so important. The judge ruled that the supposed royal addendum allowing house arrest was invalid, unenforceable.
And the reason was?
The core principle that the king cannot act independently of the pardons board when it comes to clemency. The decision has to be made within that constitutional framework.
So the takeaway is that this ruling really firms up the collective power of the pardons board. The king's clemency must operate within that defined mechanism.
Absolutely. It sets a very clear boundary for all future cases. And this kind of structural clarity at home comes as global instability is fueling these immense commodity surges. Gold and silver both hit all-time highs this week.
Gold surged nearly 70% this year. That's massive. What are the drivers?
Two main things. First, rising geopolitical tensions. Like the shadow fleet attack between Ukraine and Russia. It just destabilizes global risk perception. Second, major market bets on U.S. interest rate cuts coming in 2026. Lower rates and instability.
And investors just flood into safe haven assets like gold.
Exactly.
Okay, finally, let's quickly touch on the U.S.-China chip trade. NVIDIA is aiming to start shipping its advanced H200 AI chips to China soon.
By mid-February, yes. This shows a really complex new U.S. policy shift. These advanced chip sales are now allowed, but with a major catch.
Which is?
Beijing has to approve the purchases, and the companies have to pay a 25% fee. It's basically tech control through conditional trade.
And some positive regional news.
Yes. Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to discuss ceasefire terms to end their border clashes.
And those talks were facilitated by ASEAN ministers in Kuala Lumpur.
Crucially, yes, it demonstrates the regional body's role in de-escalation.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? Consider that constitutional framework around the Najib ruling. Beyond this one case, what are the broader ramifications of this judgment for the power of clemency for all future pardons? Something for you to mull over.
That clarification really does set a fundamental legal marker for years to come.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Make sure to subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for more in-depth analysis next week. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.